world showcases humanity's remarkable achievements. Consider the infrastructure surrounding you. Buildings, electrical grids, plumbing systems, all constructed by ordinary people whose names history has forgotten. Workers from distant lands arrived, completed their tasks, and departed without fanfare or recognition. Here's the irony. You're pursuing goals that could earn you fame and fortune, yet you struggle with motivation. Those anonymous builders erected skyscrapers for minimal pay and zero acknowledgement. They never complained about difficulty or lack of drive. They simply showed up and delivered results. Imagine rebuilding civilization from scratch. The time required would be incomprehensible. Yet through persistent effort across generations, humanity created all of this. There's no such thing as lacking motivation. You either desire something or you don't. Having access to technology that lets you watch content like this means you can accomplish easier tasks for greater rewards. The sole obstacle preventing your success and wealth is claiming you lack drive. Your own mind is sabotaging you, and this needs correction. You have roughly a decade to secure your family's future from permanent economic struggle, yet you claim insufficient motivation. You're failing your ancestors who survived genuine threats. In today's chaotic world, the last thing you should lack is urgency, because time is running short. As someone who achieved financial success, I observe the opportunity gap narrowing. You're watching it close from below, lacking the motivation to build your escape route. Waiting for government assistance or political saviors reflects a slave mentality. The system dangles false promises. Finish your degree, pay off debts, keep working, and prosperity will arrive. Ask any wealthy person how they succeeded. None will say university, yet people continue wasting years on traditional paths that don't lead to wealth. The divide is shrinking. The powerful elite work against your interests. You're 22, at peak capability and energy. If it's Friday night, are you earning money or seeking entertainment? Choosing concerts over income means accepting defeat, and that deserves no sympathy. People claim they lack energy and drive, but that's false. They simply direct it wrongly. Someone supposedly lacking motivation still chases romantic interests all day, experiences road rage, gets angry at social media. You possess energy and motivation, it's just misdirected. We all have an internal life force. Most people channel it toward distractions instead of productivity. The system has distracted society with trivial entertainment. I refuse to invest time in activities that don't benefit my life or my children's future. Sports victories and concerts don't advance my family's prospects. If you catch yourself gossiping, obsessing over celebrities, or arguing pointlessly, ask yourself why. The answer is frustration. You can't succeed at building wealth because you've only experienced failure, which explains your poverty. So you engage in conflicts where you might win instead. You're not actually depressed, angry, or unhappy. You're just broke. Achieve wealth, and you'll discover the world is beautiful with nothing worth fighting over. This explains why poor people constantly attack the rich, why politics remains theatrical nonsense, and why wealthy people don't engage at levels others expect. Their engagement focuses solely on earning money. My routine starts with 2 liters of water, then intense training, pushing through weights as hard as possible. I consume multiple coffees. I consider caffeine miraculous. Another 2 liters of water follows. I eat only dinner daily, skipping breakfast and lunch. Then I complete tasks continuously. Whether recording podcasts, traveling, or occasionally acquiring luxury items, I spend every waking moment on my laptop or phone managing my business empire. That's my entire existence, work. Life equals work for me. Even sleeping is work now. I only sleep because not sleeping would prevent working. If I could work without sleep, I'd never sleep. People observe the cars, boats, and lifestyle through marketing, thinking I'm living wildly. Then they spend time with me and realize that yes, we're on boats with attractive company and luxury surroundings, but I'm working on my laptop. That's all I want. Running the empire gives me purpose. I reach the top through old-fashioned grinding, and that's what I still do. I just work. Do I ever wake up thinking I have enough money? There's nothing else to do. I calculate that never working again, I could spend $22,000 daily for life. I try relaxing, but within 22 minutes, I'm back working because there's nothing else. I cannot stop working despite not needing money. Yet people with no money don't work. This distinction separates winners from losers. Losers work briefly, then rest. Winners work maximally while worrying they're not working hard enough. You cannot save these people who claim they lack motivation. You're a loser if you think this way. You won't always feel like taking action. You must do it anyway because it's your duty to avoid being a loser. Why do you need motivation? You have an obligation to stop losing because opportunities are disappearing. The most frequent question I receive is about lacking motivation, which annoys me because I sometimes feel unmotivated too. For the gym, for work, but I do it regardless. That's called discipline. If you wake daily lacking motivation to do necessary tasks while competing against people who act regardless of feelings, you'll perpetually lose. Asking for motivation effectively means requesting someone to make you want to act. No, you must take action or remain a loser. When I meet someone 50 years old with zero money, I don't think they've struggled, I think they're lazy. Lazy people never achieve anything in life, whether tennis or wealth. If you're lazy, you'll never succeed. In my 36 years, I've never witnessed someone genuinely trying their absolute best, truly motivated to become their optimal self, who doesn't achieve their desires. I've never seen someone who dedicates all their time doing what they should, treats people well, remains honest, works hard, maintains integrity, avoids deception, someone God favors, fail to obtain everything they want. I believe the universe grants anyone anything they genuinely desire. I've seen people make excuses and fail, but never seen anyone who wakes up, stays quiet, works, and doesn't succeed. I achieved world champion status while lacking food. How did you fail so catastrophically? How can you lack motivation? How can prey in a predator's jaws claim insufficient drive while being distracted by base urges? They're actively destroying you. You're bleeding out. Fight back. Without winning, you're losing. Someone who loses is a loser. You must act anyway because it's your duty to avoid being a loser. If you always felt like acting, there'd be no magic. The magic exists because you act regardless of feelings. Everything as a man falls under your responsibility. It's your responsibility to become your best, brightest version. You won't achieve this by talking. You need to pursue genuinely difficult, stressful challenges to become who you want to be. To be a superhero in life, understand that 80% of the story involves suffering. When your life follows that pattern, you have opportunities to grow into something fantastic. Thank God for every difficult obstacle placed in your path. A man unjustly imprisoned in a Romanian cell trains so intensely he emerges stronger than before. That's a movie. We're living movie scripts because we have courage. Most men wonder why they're depressed, because they don't live movies. They're not protagonists of anything because they've lived in fear their entire lives. You've lived as a coward and wonder about depression. I'd be depressed if I were you too. I'd rather face imprisonment as myself than live freely as you. Your freedom is worthless. You can't go where you want because you're broke. You can't attract partners. You can't speak because nobody listens. You're more imprisoned than I ever was. My mind is free. I'm permitted to think and speak as I choose. Others have thoughts and question whether they should express them. They're their own worst enemies. Every part of me supports my team. My hands, legs, every component is aligned. My body doesn't second guess itself. My mind doesn't turn against itself. We don't break or self-sabotage. There are no internal conflicts. You should feel too ashamed to be a coward. Where's your shame? We've destroyed that concept, even in schools. I'll tell you something. My brother can shame me into action. Shame works for men sometimes. Men approach me saying they can't get girlfriends, and I tell them it's because they're losers. I tell them to prove otherwise. I shame them, they react, and their lives improve. But now we have shameless men, and we wonder why we have abundant cowards. Cowardice is always the easy choice, but you should feel too much shame to select it. There's one path to happiness: masculine strength, consuming pain for breakfast, becoming better. Pain is life's flavor. Accept it and learn to love it. That's the only route to genuine competence and happiness as a man. Fear damages the body, affecting physical health and cardiovascular systems. But fear doesn't just harm your body, it damages your mind. You cannot trust your judgment when afraid. Everything appears negative when you're afraid. You become paranoid. Fear paralyzes and immobilizes you. Fear drives everyone away and makes you reject people trying to help because your perception of allies and enemies becomes disrupted by fear. Fear of rejection, disappointment, and failure prevents you from trying. Fear of falling prevents climbing. Fear of defeat prevents fighting. People rationalize that not climbing prevents falling. Not going prevents having to return. Suddenly, sensory experiences become triggers, making us forfeit what God places before us. To continue growing, you must keep moving. Some prefer being dominant in small environments rather than swimming in larger waters surrounded by more formidable competition. I suggest you're not truly living until you've been in frightening situations. You don't know what God can accomplish until you've faced scary places. You don't know your God's power until you've been in scary places. Examine your life and what you've produced. Are you doing everything possible? Have you become comfortable? Are you procrastinating? Are you avoiding your own greatness? Is your life adventurous or boring? You must use all your capabilities. You don't know what else you can do. I didn't know I could do what I'm doing now. Never limit yourself to narrow vision, using only limited talents and abilities. I'm suggesting it's necessary to exit your comfort zone. It's necessary to develop new relationships, do reading and research. It's necessary to refuse satisfaction with your current position. To succeed today, you must constantly seek improvement methods. When I wanted public television access, they said it was impossible. Be realistic, be logical. You lack college training, they won't put you on television. Give me a break. What people think about you and your dreams' possibilities is irrelevant. The attitude that things cannot be done exists because they haven't witnessed it. They judge by appearances. People who will succeed in the future. Let me share something. History is being read, but it's also being written by people with imagination. The moment you decide to step outside the boundaries others have set for you, you'll face resistance. Not just from the world, but from the people closest to you. Your family will question your choices. Your friends will call you crazy. Society will label you reckless. And here's what you need to understand. That resistance is proof you're on the right path. Comfort never built empires. Safety never created legends. Playing it safe is the fastest route to mediocrity and regret. Look at every person who changed the world, who built something meaningful, who left a legacy worth remembering. They were all called insane at some point. They were all doubted, mocked, dismissed. The Wright brothers were laughed at for believing humans could fly. Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Every revolutionary idea was met with skepticism and criticism. Why? Because most people are trapped in the prison of conventional thinking. They cannot envision what doesn't already exist, so they project their limitations onto you. When you announce ambitious goals, average people will immediately explain why it's impossible. They'll cite statistics, reference failures, warn about risks. But understand what's really happening. They're not talking about you. They're talking about themselves. They're revealing their own fears, their own limitations, their own lack of courage. Their inability to achieve something becomes evidence that you can't either. This is fundamentally flawed logic, yet it influences millions of people to abandon their dreams before even attempting them. You need to develop selective hearing. Learn to filter out the noise. Not everyone's opinion deserves consideration. In fact, most opinions are worthless. Would you take fitness advice from someone obese? Would you accept financial guidance from someone broke? Would you listen to relationship wisdom from someone perpetually single? Then why do you let unsuccessful people dictate your potential? Their track record disqualifies their input. Stop giving authority to people who haven't accomplished what you're pursuing. The brutal truth is that most people are living lives of quiet desperation. They wake up to jobs they hate, spend 40 years in careers that drain their souls, then retire with barely enough money to survive their final years. They sacrifice their dreams for security that often never materializes. They trade passion for paychecks. They exchange freedom for false stability. And when they encounter someone unwilling to make that trade, it terrifies them because it reminds them of their own surrender. Your success doesn't require their permission or approval. You don't need consensus. You don't need validation. You need vision, determination, and relentless execution. The people who built everything worthwhile didn't wait for encouragement. They didn't seek approval. They didn't pause when criticized. They simply moved forward with unwavering conviction because they understood something fundamental. Betting on yourself is the only bet worth making. Every morning you wake up, you're making a choice. Will you pursue excellence or accept mediocrity? Will you endure temporary discomfort for lasting success, or choose temporary comfort leading to permanent regret? These aren't dramatic questions. They're the most practical considerations you'll ever face. Because 5 years from now, you'll arrive somewhere. The only question is where. Will you look back with pride at mountains you've climbed, or with shame at opportunities you avoided? Time is the one resource you cannot recover. Money can be earned again. Relationships can be rebuilt. Health can be restored. But time, once spent, is gone forever. Every hour you waste watching meaningless entertainment, scrolling through social media, engaging in pointless arguments, that's time you'll never reclaim. You're literally trading pieces of your life for nothing of value. This should horrify you. This should create such intense urgency that you cannot rest until you're maximizing every moment. Consider how much time the average person wastes. Multiple hours daily on social media, hours watching television, hours in conversations that go nowhere, hours sleeping more than necessary, hours in indecision and procrastination. Added up across weeks, months, years, we're talking about decades of potential productivity completely squandered. Then these same people wonder why they haven't achieved their goals. The answer is obvious. They're not actually pursuing goals. They're pursuing comfort and distraction. Winners understand that every single day matters. Every decision compounds. Every action creates momentum in one direction or another. There's no neutral ground. You're either building or decaying. You're either advancing or retreating. You're either investing in your future or stealing from it. The middle path doesn't exist. That's an illusion sold to people who want to avoid the responsibility of choosing. People love to discuss balance. They'll tell you that you need work-life balance, that you shouldn't be obsessed, that you should enjoy the journey. This advice comes from people who never built anything significant. Yes, eventually you'll have balance. Eventually you'll enjoy leisure and relaxation. But not now. Not when you're starting. Not when you're fighting to establish yourself. There's a time for everything. And right now is the time for obsessive, focused, relentless work. The enjoyment comes later, earned through the sacrifice made now. Think about athletes training for the Olympics. Think about entrepreneurs building their first company. Think about artists perfecting their craft. Think about anyone who achieved mastery in any field. Did they have balance? Absolutely not. They were consumed by their pursuit. They sacrificed everything else on the altar of their ambition. They lived, breathed, and embodied their goal every waking moment. That's what greatness demands. That's the price of excellence, and it's non-negotiable. You cannot achieve extraordinary results through ordinary effort. You cannot reach the top 1% by working 40 hours weekly. You cannot build an empire during business hours. You cannot transform your life through convenient, comfortable actions. Transformation requires transformation. It requires becoming someone new. It requires destroying old habits, eliminating toxic patterns, and reconstructing yourself from the foundation up. This process is painful. Let's not romanticize it. You'll question yourself constantly. You'll doubt your decisions. You'll wonder if you're wasting your time. You'll watch others enjoying life while you're grinding. You'll miss events, skip parties, decline invitations. You'll feel isolated. You'll feel different. You'll feel like you're sacrificing too much. These feelings are normal. These feelings are proof you're on the right track. Comfort feels good in the moment, but creates regret over time. Discomfort feels terrible in the moment, but creates pride over time. Your future self is watching your current choices. Think about that. The person you'll become 5 years from now is observing how you're spending today. Are you making them proud? Are you making decisions they'll thank you for? Or are you making choices they'll resent? You have a responsibility to your future self. You're either their hero or their disappointment. You're either the person who changed everything or the person who changed nothing. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 years. They want immediate results. They want instant gratification. They want success without the corresponding struggle. This mindset guarantees failure. Real achievement requires sustained effort over extended periods. It requires showing up when you don't feel like it. It requires persisting when results aren't visible. It requires faith in the process when evidence suggests you're wasting your time. The compound effect is real, but slow. Small improvements made consistently over time create massive results. But most people quit before the compounding begins. They work for weeks or months, see minimal progress, and conclude it's not working. They don't understand that they quit right before the breakthrough. They abandon the effort right before the exponential growth phase. It's like digging for gold, getting exhausted, quitting 1 foot before striking the vein, and walking away convinced there was nothing there. Persistence isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. It doesn't generate social media engagement. But it's the single most important factor in any success story. Talent matters less than persistence. Intelligence matters less than persistence. Connections matter less than persistence. Because talent without persistence dies. Intelligence without persistence accomplishes nothing. Connections without persistence fade away. But persistence without any other advantage eventually wins. You need to develop a relationship with discomfort. You need to become intimate with struggle. You need to embrace difficulty as a necessary companion on the journey to excellence. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding discomfort. They choose the easy option, the comfortable path, the familiar routine. This guarantees stagnation. Growth happens exclusively outside the comfort zone. There's no other way. You cannot expand while remaining in the same container. Consider physical training. Muscles grow by being torn and rebuilt. They grow through stress, through resistance, through pushing beyond current capacity. Your entire life operates on this principle. You grow by being challenged. You develop by facing difficulty. You evolve by confronting what scares you. Avoiding these experiences doesn't protect you. It weakens you. It keeps you small, fragile, unprepared for life's inevitable challenges. The world rewards value creation. It rewards problem solving. It rewards providing services and products that improve people's lives. It doesn't reward effort or intentions or how hard you tried. Results matter. Outcomes matter. Impact matters. You can work incredibly hard at something worthless and remain broke. You can exert minimal effort at something valuable and become wealthy. The key is directing your energy toward activities that generate disproportionate returns. Most people confuse activity with achievement. They stay busy but not productive. They fill their days with tasks that feel like work but generate no real value. Checking emails, attending meetings, organizing files, making plans. These activities create the illusion of progress without actual advancement. True productivity means moving toward meaningful goals through high-leverage actions. Everything else is sophisticated procrastination. You should be ruthlessly selective about how you invest your time. Every activity should either directly advance your goals or restore your energy for activities that do. If something doesn't meet either criterion, eliminate it. Be harsh about this. Your time is your life. Wasting time is wasting life. Most people are incredibly casual about this, treating their time as if it's infinite. It's not. You have roughly 30,000 days if you're lucky. Subtract the years you've already lived. Now consider how you're spending what remains. Does your daily routine reflect someone destined for greatness or someone destined for regret? Discipline is freedom. This sounds contradictory, but it's profoundly true. The discipline to wake early creates the freedom of extra productive hours. The discipline to eat properly creates the freedom of health and energy. The discipline to save money creates the freedom of financial security. The discipline to work when others rest creates the freedom of success and options. Every disciplined choice made today creates freedom tomorrow. Every undisciplined choice made today creates limitation tomorrow. People think discipline restricts their life. Actually, lack of discipline restricts their life. The person without financial discipline is restricted by debt. The person without health discipline is restricted by illness. The person without professional discipline is restricted by mediocre career options. They've traded momentary pleasure for permanent restriction. They chose the dessert and got the diabetes. They chose the laziness and got the poverty. They chose the easy path and got the hard life. Your current circumstances are largely the result of past decisions. If you don't like where you are, change your decisions. If you continue making the same choices, you'll continue getting the same results. This is basic cause and effect. Yet millions of people expect different outcomes while repeating identical behaviors. That's not hope, that's delusion. You want different results? Make different choices. You want a different life? Become a different person. Nobody is coming to save you. This is the hardest truth to accept. No government program, no lottery ticket, no inheritance, no lucky break will rescue you from your current situation. Even if external help arrives, it won't stick unless you've developed the character to maintain it. Lottery winners go broke because they didn't develop wealth consciousness. People given opportunities squander them because they lack the discipline to capitalize. External changes without internal development mean nothing. You are the solution to your problems. You are the answer to your questions. You are the key to your success. Stop looking outward. Stop blaming circumstances, other people, bad luck, timing, the economy, your background, your education, your appearance, your age. All of these can be obstacles, but none are insurmountable. For every excuse you can create, someone with a worse situation has succeeded despite it. Your excuses aren't reasons, they're choices. You're choosing to let these factors stop you. The victim mindset is seductive because it removes responsibility. If circumstances are to blame, you don't have to change. If other people are the problem, you don't have to improve. If the system is rigged, you don't have to try. This mindset protects your ego in the short term, but destroys your life in the long term. Yes, life is unfair. Yes, some people have advantages you don't. Yes, the system favors certain groups. These facts don't change your responsibility to yourself. You still have to show up. You still have to work. You still have to improve. Because the alternative is permanent powerlessness. Power comes from taking responsibility even when something isn't your fault. Your childhood might not be your fault, but your adulthood is your responsibility. Your starting point might not be your fault, but your ending point is your responsibility. What happened to you might not be your fault, but what you do next is entirely your responsibility. This shift from victim to creator changes everything. Suddenly you have agency. Suddenly you have power. Suddenly you have options. Excellence is lonely. Most people won't understand your drive. They won't comprehend your sacrifice. They won't appreciate your dedication. They'll think you're extreme, obsessed, unbalanced. Let them think whatever they want. Their understanding isn't required. Their approval isn't necessary. You're not living for an audience. You're building a life that matters, creating something meaningful, becoming someone significant. This journey doesn't require spectators. It requires commitment. You'll lose friends during this process. People you thought would support you will fade away. Some will actively discourage you. Others will simply stop relating to you as you evolve beyond your old environment. This is natural and necessary. You cannot take everyone with you. Some people are meant for specific seasons of your life, not the entire journey. Release them with gratitude and keep moving. Your destination is too important to abandon because someone else won't join you. Surround yourself with people who elevate you. Find individuals who are further ahead, more disciplined, more successful. Their standards will raise yours. Their expectations will push you. Their presence will challenge you to grow. Most people do the opposite. They surround themselves with people who make them feel comfortable, who don't challenge them, who accept their limitations. This guarantees stagnation. If you're the most successful person in your circle, you need a new circle. Mentorship matters. Learning from people who've accomplished what you're pursuing accelerates your progress exponentially. Why figure everything out through painful trial and error when you can learn from someone who's already navigated that path? Yet most people are too proud to seek guidance, too stubborn to follow advice, too arrogant to accept that they don't know everything. This pride costs years of progress. The wisest people are perpetual students, constantly learning, constantly improving, constantly seeking better methods. Information without implementation is useless. You can consume endless content, read countless books, attend numerous seminars, but without application, nothing changes. Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. Most people collect information as if collecting it somehow creates results. It doesn't. Knowing what to do and not doing it is worse than not knowing, because you've eliminated ignorance as an excuse. Now you're just choosing failure. Start before you're ready. Perfectionism is procrastination in disguise. Waiting for ideal conditions means waiting forever. Conditions will never be perfect. You'll never feel completely ready. You'll never have all the answers. Successful people start before they're qualified, before they're prepared, before they're confident. They figure it out along the way. They learn by doing. They course correct in real time. Meanwhile, unsuccessful people are still planning, still preparing, still waiting for the right moment that never comes. Failure is education. Every setback teaches something valuable if you're willing to learn. Most people view failure as evidence they should quit. Actually, failure is evidence you're trying, experimenting, testing limits. The people who never fail are the people who never attempt anything difficult. They play it safe, stay in their lane, avoid risk. They also never achieve anything remarkable. You should be failing regularly. If you're not failing, you're not stretching yourself enough. You're operating too far inside your comfort zone. Resilience is built through adversity. You don't develop mental toughness during easy times. You develop it by enduring difficult times and refusing to break. Every challenge you overcome makes you stronger for the next one. Every obstacle you navigate builds your capability to handle larger obstacles. This is why avoiding difficulty actually makes you weaker. You're not protecting yourself, you're preventing yourself from developing the strength you'll inevitably need. Life will test you eventually. Better to face smaller tests now and build capacity than face major tests later without any preparation. Your standards determine your life. If you accept mediocrity, you'll get mediocrity. If you demand excellence, you'll have to work for it, but you'll get closer to it. Most people have low standards for themselves while having high expectations for life. This creates constant disappointment. The equation should be inverted. High standards for yourself, no expectations of external circumstances. Control what you can control. Your effort, your attitude, your consistency, your improvement. Everything else is outside your control, so releasing expectations about it eliminates unnecessary suffering. Consistency beats intensity. Working moderately hard every single day produces better results than working extremely hard sporadically. The person who trains 3 hours daily for a year will surpass the person who trains 10 hours daily for a month. Sustainability matters. Building systems and routines that you can maintain indefinitely creates compound results. Intense bursts followed by long breaks create minimal, lasting progress. You need to find a pace you can sustain for years, then maintain that pace relentlessly. Your morning routine sets the tone for your entire day. How you start determines how you proceed. Successful people don't stumble into their day, they attack it intentionally from the moment they wake. They've designed their morning to create momentum, to generate energy, to establish control. Meanwhile, unsuccessful people hit snooze repeatedly, check their phones immediately, react to whatever demands their attention, and wonder why they feel overwhelmed. You're either running your day or your day is running you. Physical fitness directly impacts mental performance. Your body and mind aren't separate entities, they're interconnected systems. When your body is weak, your mind is weak. When your body is strong, your mind is strong. Physical training builds discipline that transfers to every other area. It teaches you that discomfort is temporary, that pushing beyond perceived limits is possible, that incremental progress compounds into transformation. Plus, the confidence that comes from being physically capable changes how you move through the world. Most people treat their bodies terribly and expect peak performance. They consume garbage food, sleep inadequately, avoid exercise, then wonder why they lack energy and focus. Your body is the vehicle carrying you through life. Maintain it properly or it will break down. This isn't complicated. Eat real food, move regularly, sleep sufficiently, avoid obvious toxins. Yet millions ignore these basics and rely on medication to manage problems that lifestyle changes would solve. Taking responsibility for your health is taking responsibility for your life. Energy management is more important than time management. You can have all the time in the world, but without energy, you'll accomplish nothing. Protect your energy fiercely. This means eliminating energy drains, toxic people, pointless obligations, draining environments, negative media consumption. It means cultivating energy sources, quality sleep, proper nutrition, exercise, meaningful work, positive relationships. Most people leak energy constantly through worry, stress, conflict, and distraction, then have nothing left for activities that actually matter. Learn to say no. This might be the most valuable skill you can develop. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to something important. Every commitment you make reduces capacity for other commitments. Most people say yes to everything, overcommit themselves, then deliver mediocre results across the board because they're spread too thin. Better to commit to fewer things and excel at them than commit to everything and be average at all of it. Successful people are selective. They guard their time and attention like their life depends on it, because it does. Money is a tool, not a goal. Pursuing money for its own sake leads to emptiness. But pursuing financial freedom, the ability to make choices based on what you want rather than what you must, that's worthwhile. Money creates options. It provides security for your family. It enables you to help others. It removes stress around basic needs. It allows you to invest in your growth. These are valuable outcomes. So yes, focus on building wealth, but understand why you're doing it. Multiple income streams provide stability. Depending on a single source of income is incredibly risky. Jobs can be lost. Businesses can fail. Industries can collapse. Diversification protects you. This doesn't mean doing 10 things poorly. It means building one solid income source, then gradually developing others. The person with income from employment, investments, side business, and real estate is far more secure than the person earning twice as much from one source. Develop skills that generate value in multiple contexts. Build assets that produce passive income. Create systems that don't require your constant attention. Invest in yourself first. Before buying luxury items, before making risky investments, before helping others, invest in your own development. Take courses, hire coaches, buy books, attend seminars, upgrade your skills, expand your knowledge, improve your health. This is the highest return investment available because it increases your earning capacity permanently. A skill learned is an asset owned. Knowledge acquired is capital that can never be taken from you. Most people spend money on things that depreciate while ignoring investments in themselves that appreciate. Delayed gratification separates those who succeed from those who struggle. The ability to sacrifice now for reward later is fundamental. Eating healthy today for health tomorrow. Saving money today for security tomorrow. Working hard today for success tomorrow. Most people invert this. They choose immediate pleasure and accept future pain. They eat the dessert and skip the workout. They buy the luxury item and ignore the retirement account. They waste today and hope tomorrow somehow improves. It won't. Tomorrow becomes today, and you'll face consequences of yesterday's choices. Build systems, not goals. Goals are useful for direction, but systems determine progress. The goal might be losing 20 pounds. The system is eating properly and training regularly. The goal might be earning 6 figures. The system is developing valuable skills and consistently applying them. Focus on the system. Execute the system daily. Trust the system to produce results over time. Goals provide motivation temporarily. Systems provide results permanently. Identity change precedes behavior change. If you see yourself as lazy, you'll act lazy. If you see yourself as disciplined, you'll act disciplined. Your self-concept determines your actions. Most people try to change behaviors without changing identity. This creates internal conflict. You're fighting yourself constantly. Instead, consciously rebuild your identity. Decide who you want to be. Act consistently with that identity. Over time, the identity becomes real and the behaviors become natural. You're not someone trying to be disciplined. You are disciplined. That's a fundamental difference. Environment shapes behavior more than willpower. You can have immense willpower and still struggle in an environment that doesn't support your goals. If you're trying to eat healthy but your kitchen is filled with junk food, you're making success unnecessarily difficult. If you're trying to focus but your phone constantly distracts you, you're sabotaging yourself. Design your environment to make success easy and failure difficult. Remove temptations.